You were brilliant. Hello, my name is Liz Panton and I stood for the Party of Women last year in the general election. Yay! Yay! And I beat the Communist Party and I beat the SDP. Yay! And I had COVID, so I couldn't even go out canvassing. So I think I would have done even better if I hadn't had COVID at the time. Yesterday I went to the Let Women Speak Police and I talked about Northumbria Police. But today I want to talk to you about trade unions, because I used to be very, very active in the trade unions. I was a speech and language therapist, so I worked in a predominantly female profession in the NHS. But my union was the Manufacturing, Science and Finance Union, which was predominantly male industrial. So I had a great time trying to get women's rights through there. And in particular, trying to persuade male trade unionists to back the Equal Pay, the Low Pay Act, because they did not want that, because it would mean that women would have their wages raised to the level of men, and they did not want that to happen. However, I was also the regional president of the northern part of the Manufacturing, Science and Finance Union, which is now Unite. So I'm still a member, a retired member of Unite Union. And after the four-starter judgment, I wrote to the regional legal officer and said I was concerned that a lot of trade union members who were women did not have confidence in their trade unions to represent them in the workplace if there were issues to do with sex versus gender, such as access to toilets. Women were being bullied, and I know in the northeast there were women who were having a really bad time in the NHS and other industries, who were what we might call TERFs, who were very, very low-key, but were still having a lot of problems. So I wrote to the regional legal officer and said, you will be aware, I assume, of the four-starter judgment, and you understand what that means. And I'm very concerned that women are not being properly represented and they don't have confidence in the trade unions. Are you aware as well that a union member can take the union to court under Section 57 of the Equality Act? Because that is the part of the Equality Act which prohibits trade unions and other trade organisations from discriminating against their members on the basis of a protected characteristic. So the regional legal officer wrote back to me a very lengthy legalistic letter explaining in great detail how, in his opinion, the Equality Act did not apply to trade unions. And if it did, it wouldn't be Section 57. It would be, and he tried to make it to do with associations or maybe services, and I mean incredible convoluted legal arguments. So I just wrote back and said, look, Section 57, trade organisations, it says, for example, trade unions. This is the area that you should be concerned about, that you should, what training are you putting in place for workplace reps to understand the implications of the four-starter judgment? What briefings are you putting out? Because there are always research briefings about changes in the law. I remember we would have special days to understand how a change in the law would affect the workplace. He didn't know. Can you tell me who will know who is going to put this into place? He didn't know. So it was pretty hopeless, and I was very, very disappointed. But I think now, with the new Supreme Court judgment, I'm going to get back in touch. And I don't know if in my position as a retired member, whether I would be able to take the union to court, because they're not representing me. I'm no longer in the workplace. But if I can, I will do that. And if I can't, I'll certainly support any other member who wishes to take the Unite Union to court. Right.